There was a time when superhero movies were viewed as silly and overtly camp. In the days before big-budget CGI special effects, the best you could honestly hope for when your favorite comic champion made the awkward transition to the big screen was some talentless actor suspended from wires in tight-fitting lycra, not exactly what you'd describe as heroic. In recent times, the superhero movie has undergone a startling resurgence. Not a week seems to pass without another comic book adaptation hitting the cinema screens. Marvel's Iron Man is the latest candidate, and true to form, an official video game has been swiftly commissioned to accompany the release of this likable popcorn flick. Stepping into the metal shoes of reformed multimillionaire arms inventor Tony Stark, it's your job to bring peace and justice to the world by destroying all the wicked weapons you've created and stopping the evil plans of former business accomplice Obadiah Stane, who not only sports a shiny hairless head, but has a rather nasty maniacal streak as well. You see, after being somewhat irked by Stark's sudden development of a conscience, Stane has amassed a considerable array of powerful weaponry, including tanks, planes, and other military vehicles. Thankfully, Stark is able to counter this threat by calling upon a plethora of gadgets concealed within his distinctive red and yellow Iron Man exoskeleton. Given the action-packed nature of the plot, it should come as no surprise to find that the Iron Man, the official video game, involves a lot of wanton destruction and plenty of large explosions. The main attraction is unquestionably the feature-packed bionic suit that Spark inhabits. Not only can it fly, but it also possesses some seriously powerful firepower, most notably the hand-mounted repulsor gun, which will be instantly familiar to die-hard fans of the comic book. To back up this renowned weapon, Stark also packs other offensive options such as missiles, machine guns, pulse rifles, and even his fists, which are powerful enough to punch a hole through metal. He probably even has a can opener tucked away in that suit somewhere. Spread out over 13 missions, Iron Man sees the player performing a variety of tasks in order to complete each assignment. There are the traditional destroy this target tasks, as well as escort missions where you have to defend other vehicles from enemy attack. The objectives are never so complicated that they leave you wondering what to do next, but at the same time, they're a little predictable and unadventurous. Graphically, Iron Man is an admirable attempt to shoehorn the lush visuals of the console versions into the PSP's screen, but the poor portable just isn't up to the task. Objects are ill-defined and badly rendered, animation is unconvincing, and the levels are sparse. Particle and fog effects are mercifully used to mask the shortcomings of the game engine, but even then, it's obvious that Iron Man isn't going to win any awards when it comes to promoting graphical excellence on Sony's handheld. Another more serious issue manifests itself when you attempt to control the titular superhero. Again, the developers have tried to stay true to the console versions by adopting a twin-stick approach, with the analog nub controlling Stark's movement and the fascia buttons his aim. The shoulder triggers control flight and weaponry. Sadly, the system fails to grant the degree of command necessary to make the game enjoyable. Having a lead character that not only hovers but flies creates numerous issues when it comes to accurately managing his movements. And the game often calls for swift changes of speed and direction, both of which are made frustratingly difficult by the inept controls. Taking this into account, it's probably a good thing that the assailants in Iron Man are about as hard as chocolate mousse. Even when you're totally swarmed by foes, they seem to inflict only minimal damage and don't really represent much of a threat to our wealthy superhero. This removes much of the challenge and suspense from the game, because whenever you fly into a combat situation, you can be fairly confident that you're going to be the only man standing at the end. It's a real shame because when the combat does work, it's fairly exhilarating. Things are slightly more encouraging when it comes to the audio side of things, with a suitably epic musical score and voice acting by Robert Downey Jr. himself, helping to lend the game a much-needed air of authenticity. The sound effects that accompany the action are fairly lackluster, however. Iron Man certainly isn't the first Hollywood video game adaptation to disappoint, and it most definitely won't be the last, but the fact that it's such a crushingly average piece of electronic entertainment is made all the more disheartening when you consider the sheer potential of the subject matter. The concept of Iron Man facing off against an entire army, pirouetting through the air and engaging fighter jets in deadly dogfights should get even the most stony-faced video gamer's pulse racing, but sadly this has been squandered on what is a particularly underwhelming action title that fails to bring anything new or exciting to the genre.
Started, this suit was just scrap metal. Now look at it. It makes me sick to see stark crates in this place.
You want to ruin the company?
Is that a rhetorical question? All I know is that we're not selling weapons anymore.
How do you deal with him?
I don't. I just feed him, clothe him, and bathe him.
Now that is the voice of reason.
Actually, sir, that would be me.
He's right. You don't want to argue with Jarvis, do you?
Tony, this company makes weapons. It's your family legacy.
Was. Legacies change. People change. Maybe it's time for a new kind of company. Okay, down to go.
Pepper, I'm gonna be running some field tests. Hold all my calls.
Were you serious back there? No more weapons?
That's right, I'm retired. Just give me my gold watch and take away my parking pass, okay?
Stane's really upset.
Good. It's his job to be upset. Gotta run.
Heart monitoring system operational, sir. All systems ready.
Alright, let's see what this suit can do. Jarvis, let's start with hover.
Hover thrusters online. Placing markers for mobility testing, sir. Please enter the ground beacon when finished. Destination marked on your heads-up display, sir. You will also see it on your radar.
Got it?
Tony, I think you're making a mistake. A lot of people depend on their jobs here. You sure you want to shut everything down?
Hey, take it easy. I'm an engineer, all right? Not their dad. People can take care of themselves. And I'm doing something important right now, so if you don't mind...
You're the boss.
I want terminal velocity, Jarvis. We're going to drop this suit straight down and see what happens.